Hi, welcome ladies and gents to my first ever video for Predecessor after its full early access launch. After playing the game for a couple of hours, not even hours, it's a couple of days now, there are a certain number of things which are need to be made clear. I have seen bunch of people on Discord and Reddit complain about the game, how tough it is. So in this video, I'm going to be discussing some of the key points which you need to make sure to not suck at this game basically. So right off the bat, if you are not in the top 1% of the gamers, I mean the Giga Chat gamers level, then you should forget about being any good at the game. You will absolutely be crushed, squeezed and humiliated in the matches. Now, wait, don't leave. Listen closely. You gotta stick with the game like all things in life. It doesn't come easy. There are a couple of things that you should keep in mind while playing Predecessor. It will help you out a lot and it will improve your gameplay and experience a whole lot. Number one, first and foremost, play at least 20 games in all the different roles and heroes. Familiarize yourself with all the hero kits and how they feel when you execute an ability. Learn which hero is easy for you to control and contribute. Based on that, you build on this and go from there. Next, learn and experiment with all the items. By that I mean try all the recommended items and see which items you are lacking. For example, what you're lacking in certain parameters like magic power, life steal, and if you feel your tankiness is less, for tankiness you can go for more health, and these are all the different parameters that you can experiment with. After you have done these first two things, you should be really familiar with the game mechanic. If you're still struggling and dying to the enemy team like me, I always die a lot, then learn to play the game passively and farm the hell out of the game. There is nothing good as outfarming the enemy hero and becoming a total menace for the enemy team. But to do that, you need to know how to farm under tower and denying your opponent the farm. Always try to push the lane in tower. If you are not able to freeze the lane near your tower, always try to push the lane into your enemy's tower. That's the best thing. You are denying them the farm and the XP. They will still get the XP, but you're denying them the farm essentially and the gold. The next bit of advice for you is to try the river buff, which help you with mana regen and the occasional shields. It will help you to spam abilities as all of them consume mana. So the next bit of advice from me would be based on the lane which you are playing. So if you're an off laner, try to take the off lane buff as much as possible. It gives you a level advantage. Also, when you are decently ahead, try to take the small orb with the jungler. If you're not able to do it, use your jungler so that you can create extra lane pressure and push the lane, and which will help you to rotate and help the mid laner or your carry. Now, if you're as a jungler, try to farm as quickly as possible to get your ultimate. You need to get your ultimate as soon as possible so that when you gank, you're able to deal decent damage on the enemy hero. If you see any lane in danger, try to help them with your teammate. If they back to the base and you see the tower is under attack, try to protect it, try to defend it. It's always nice to have towers. Guys, I can't emphasize this point. It's always nice to have towers, because if you're getting chased by Kalari or some other enemy hero, you can run into the protection of the towers. Make sure to not push the lane for your carry or other laners, as it forces the lane operator to push out from the safety of the tower. The most important bit for a jungler is to go for objective. Fangtooth and Orb are your friends and they help your team immensely. Now, if you're playing as a mid laner, I personally feel mid laners are really important, as they are the second damage dealers in a team. The laner needs to make sure to go for a river buff so that they can be able to spam those abilities, because you need mana. Mana is really important. Mana management is really important. You need to remember how to manage your mana properly. Do not feed the enemy laner, do not feed the enemy mid laner. Make sure to ward so as to catch the enemy jungler rotating, and it also helps you it also prevents your team from getting ganked. If you see the enemy mid laner rotating, you have two options here. Either you rotate as well, pertaining you do not lose your tower because of it, or if you have pinged the enemy missing and inform your teammates and you think they are okay, they shouldn't be dead to the enemy team, then what you can do is you can try to take down the enemy mid tower, because as soon as you take the tower down, then it makes the life of the jungler to take, creating pressure in the mid lane and pushing, which relieves some pressure from your off lane as well as your right lane, the dual lane. Make sure to be a bit behind an enemy in the team fights when you're fighting the enemy, so that you can spam your ability damage and AoE damage and you help the team, because you are squishy as a mid laner. Usually don't build tanks, so it's always better to be a bit behind in a team fight. The next one are the carry. As a carry, it's your responsibility to deal massive amounts of damage to the enemy team. In order to be able to do that, you need to farm, and by farm I mean farm damn good. You need to work on your last hitting. Omega has already made our life really easy in terms of last hitting. The other thing that you need to keep in mind while playing as a carry is do not feed the enemy carry. I repeat, do not feed the enemy carry, because once you do, it's all over, because he's gonna kill you, take your tower, take the gold buff and rotate and take the mid tower and kill the mid laner as well. Oh, and before that, he might just take Fang Tooth if it's not already taken. So in such situation, when the enemy carry is really aggressive and is dominating, make sure to be passive and try to farm under the tower. So now you remember, the tower is your friend. It's really good to have something to fall back. It gives you a bit of defense. Lastly, we have the Mother Teresa of the team, the selfless support. If you're playing as a support, make sure to fill the gaps that is left in the team configuration. For example, if the team lacks a CC, you go for Decker or Bellica, and if your team is too squishy, you go for Richter and build a tank and hook the enemy team to death. This is all my take by playing Predecessor for a week. Other people might have something else that work for them, but the key points remain the same, which are: don't feed the enemy team, take objectives, rotate and help teammates, protect towers, and take down the enemy towers. This is your boy Ghoul. It's been real. See you around.